Hello my friends and welcome, my name is Dennis and this is the latest update from Ukraine. Awesome news for Ukraine and Ukrainian army, even though today Putin annexed the part of the territory of Ukraine, but it's just temporary action and no one would recognize that. But the main thing that at the same time we were able to encircle Lyman city. And yes, from this military map you can see that they still have the connection with Zarychne, but my friends, the update was this morning, and let me show you the latest update from different resources. Oops, Russian soldiers are encircled, really. This small road over here was the only supply link for the Russian army in Lyman. So how many Russian soldiers have we encircled? Some say 1,500 and some say around 5,000. So far, it's hard to tell, my friends, but obviously we're gonna see figures in future. I think there are around 3,000 soldiers because there are 2 regiments from the self-proclaimed republics and 1 regular regiment from the Russian army. Still, you can see that that territory is in a gray area, so there could be some of the Russian groups, but officially we cut supplies for Russians and it means that they are encircled in a quite small territory. Let's go to the deep state map, a military map again. I hope that they will release the military map update very soon, and this road was crucial for Russian army, so we were able to cut this out for Russians. And let me show you the timeline. So it was yesterday and it is this morning, my friends, morning. Evening time, we're gonna see Lyman encircled. Don't show this map to Putin because he is celebrating what? The papers that he signed. It will not change the picture for Ukrainian army. And today, awesome news as well for Ukraine. We officially start the application to join NATO. I think it was already agreed with our Western allies, and I think in the future, nearby future, we're gonna join that alliance. And it means that NATO may protect Ukraine. Maybe not all of the territories, because they may say that Crimea is kind of under the question, also self-proclaimed republics, but obviously they're gonna protect Ukraine. It doesn't mean that there's gonna be nuclear war or something. How I see it in the future, my friends, we'll have more weapons from our Western allies. We're gonna free all of the territories of Ukraine, and after that, Ukraine joins NATO. And from that point, NATO may protect Ukraine. So I see it like in this scenario. Yeah, I'm looking at this map, my friends, and still can't imagine what is happening. We are just destroying the second biggest army as it used to be in the world. So Yampel was taken kind of easily. I expected to be taken in a hard way because there are some natural obstacles. But this morning we took this town, and after that we're gonna have the freeway. We already got the freeway towards Zarychne and Torske. And it's the first Russian army encirclement since the World War II. Remember in 2014 then it was the conflict, so the war in this area of Donbass, and you might have heard this name, Ilovaisk. So our army, Ukrainian army, was trapped there, and our leaders agreed with the Russians that our soldiers would go from Ilovaisk without weapons. So our soldiers went through the column and were targeted by Russians, so we were not armed and we lost quite a lot of people there, around 500. So it's the payback time for Russia because they have now more troops encircled in Lyman. And now I just want to show you the Lyman city itself. It's kind of big one, industrial city. It has lots of the railroads, big railway station, as you can see, mostly for coal, iron, and many other things. Here we have the small airfield even, and what else? Fields, so nowhere to hide, no forests, no bushes. The bushes are here and forests as well, and that territory is under Ukrainian control already. So Zarychne is over here. It's the big village, and it's kind of many villages connected together, and we already were able to cut their supplies. Their supplies were through this small road across the villages, and we already encircled them over there. So those are the water reservoirs, or you may call them lakes, and our army is already here. So basically we may attack Russian army over here using our artillery from all of the sides. Basically their army could be just devastated. So they have two actions now, two way outs from this situation. Russia may ask Ukraine to give the corridor for the Russian army to leave Lyman, and we're gonna negotiate that, obviously. And the other thing, Russia may forget about their soldiers in Lyman, and in that case, we're gonna use artillery and just demolish them. Because in that case, the rest of the Russian army would be just demoralized, because they would understand that their managers doesn't care about their soldiers. And it's gonna be one more nail into the lid of the Putin's coffin. In 1914, then Russia announced the massive mobilization of their soldiers before the First World War. After a few years, that army turned against the Tsar regime, because by that time Russian leaders didn't care about their soldiers, and we see the same mistakes done by Putin regime. What other perks we'll have after capturing the Russian army in Lyman? We're gonna have the freeway towards Starobilsk and Svatove. Basically, those urban cities are the main defense lines on the front line. So if you capture the big city, you may go forward across the fields if the weather is good, and obviously you may have some sort of the towns like Kremina, but basically those cannot be used for the long-term defense. And you can see that we are very close to Lysychansk and Severodonetsk and also Rubizhne. I think those will be the next targets for Ukrainian army, and obviously we're gonna go to Svatove, I'm sure about it. If we take this supply hub in Svatove, all of the front line for Russia would automatically collapse, and we're gonna take all of this part. If we take Starobilsk, all of the north part of the self-proclaimed LPR Republic would also collapse, and we're gonna go to Lugansk. About the rest parts of the front lines, my friends, on the south, it's more or less stable, so no active action compared to what is happening in Donetsk area, in Donetsk region, but still we continue to perform our counterattack, and I do expect that till the end of this year we're gonna free all of this part. And I have a short announcement for you, my friends, before we go to the latest news and events. I have my Telegram channel. I'll put it to the video description below, so please subscribe, because there I publish what I cannot publish on YouTube, some of the videos and other stuff. So join my Telegram channel as well. There were some of the rocket attacks on civilians this morning in Zaporizhia and Dnieper. Many civilians lost their lives. One of the rockets hit the column of civilian cars that were going from one place to another, and it's terrible. I already posted that in Telegram, so Tiva is on the far east of Russia, and those people live there. They live in poverty. So if family gives men to Russian army for mobilization to be killed in Ukraine, son, father, doesn't matter, they will receive these sheep. And yeah, great exchange. And this is official news, my friends. I know Russian, I know what I'm talking about. So officially they have this exchange, man for sheep. Save sheeps. Our guys near to Lyman in Dobryshevo town, it was taken by Ukraine this morning. I think we have one of the most effective armies in the world. In Moscow, everything is okay. They do celebrate the encirclement of Lyman city and application of Ukraine to join the NATO. You see how many people there? They all been paid to join this meeting. I'm sure about it. And Putin said, let's call hooray for our defenders, to hear us even from Moscow.
Набрали воздуха и по моей команде на счет 3. Раз, два, три. Ура! Ура! Ура!
Oh, they have lots of the young patriotic men. I think they should go and try themselves in Russian army. Why not? They already got inspired by today's Lyman encirclement, and I think they going to follow the Russian soldiers' steps. Russia sends more tanks to Ukraine. As I see it, those are T-62, very old, with no modern armor, as you can also see that, and they are a little bit rusty. We have the amber color. I don't know if you can see it from the screen, but obviously they were removed from the long-term storage. On the other hand, the Ukrainian army got modern type of weaponry from our Western allies. And President Biden already said today that United States of America will give Ukraine all of the required weapons to free the captured territories of our country. Today, Russia tried to gather some sort of the column to leave Lyman over here from Zarychna, but unsuccessfully. As I told you, President Zelensky signed today the application to join the NATO. It's the long-term goal for us, and it's not going to be very fast. As you can see, Sweden together with Finland are still on their way, even though they are going for a very short program to join NATO. Here, Ukraine may join, I think, in 1 or 2 years, and we have the time to free our country completely, then join NATO, and in that way we'll be protected by alliance. And I think that NATO also needs Ukrainian army because it's the best army in the world that has military experience. I think Russian leader got some sort of the psychological problems. Even with high heels, he's kind of short, and obviously he got some psychological trauma about that. He's like a small Napoleon and modern day Hitler. Our guys filmed what is left from the Russian tanks in Lyman. Unfortunately, I cannot show you the full video because it's against the YouTube policy, so please join my Telegram channel to see more content. This is the Russian opposition journalist. She is pregnant and still was arrested by the Russian militia. At least she got her phone, and I think that everything will be fine. Disability flash mob in Russia. So those guys, they didn't broke their legs. They just got maybe some papers, and they don't want to go to serve for Russian army. So it is today's attack on civilians by Russia. So they fired Kinjal hypersonic rocket to hit civilian cars here. It's just crazy. And I hope you can see how Russians are trying to leave Lyman. The video is not good because it's filmed on phone, but here you can see they are running. Run, Forest, run! And as you can see, also there are not many bushes or the places to hide. It's open area, as I told you, and they're very vulnerable to our artillery. Our military journalists say that there could be different numbers again of the Russian soldiers that were encircled in Lyman. Some say 2,500. It's the lowest number, they say, and the highest is 5,500 soldiers, which is the great number. United States Secretary Blinken said that they're very serious about the Russian threats to use nuclear weapons. However, so far they don't see that Russia is preparing to use it. Also, NATO Secretary said that Russia would face severe circumstances in case they would use nuclear weapons. Honestly, in today's Putin's speech, I was expecting that they would announce the war to Ukraine after annexation right away. And I thought that they would threat Ukraine with nuclear weapons openly, like if you wouldn't withdraw from our territory, we would use nukes against you. But everything was more or less okay. The special operation continues. What they say, like they would use all of the measures to free their territory. It wasn't like that in his speech because he is afraid. I think NATO countries and United States in particular, I think they told him that he will lose his life in that case. Putin's speech was so cringy. He even appealed to the 17th century and opioid wars in Asia. He lives in parallel reality in Russian Empire, Soviet Union. He doesn't want to think about the future. He stayed in the past and he needs to be removed from the power as soon as possible. Zelensky today said that there would be no any negotiations with current Russian president ever. And Stoltenberg, NATO secretary, also said that they would support the choice of Ukraine to join NATO. But as I say to you, it will not be done like that. I think it may take even a couple of years. Boris Johnson also said about Vladimir Putin's speech, it's a fraud and disgrace. I agree with Boris 100%. Our intelligence chief Kirill Budanov said that this winter Ukraine will go on a counterattack towards Crimea. I'm in doubt about it. I do not expect it that soon. However, if that may happen, that is great. I don't see a new update of this military map, so that is why I'm gonna keep you updated on situation here in Ukraine. If you want to support the channel, press the like, it helps me a lot. And please check out my Telegram channel because there I may upload more frequently and up-to-date information. And if you want to support my channel financially, there are always links under this video. You may support me on Patreon, PayPal or Donatello, whichever you like or convenient for you. My friends, I wish you a peaceful sky wherever you are. Have a great time.